Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video, and it's time for a patch 8 overview. So let's check what's different right now. I know that I'm a little bit late for this one, but I had a lot to do in the past few days. As you probably noticed, I have been releasing a lot of content lately, and I really wanted to finish the legendary guide, which, by the way, if you didn't check yet, then I really think you should. But let's move on to what matters here, which is a patch 8 overview and the 20 things that have drastically changed and that you really need to know because they are crucial for your gameplay and they can affect you in many ways and you probably don't know yet. So let's begin. We have a new quest line and it's called the Lying Low, and it features 4 side quests. They are quite interesting since they ask you to be a detective to investigate things. So it's not your ordinary missions that you are used to, at least compared to most main and side missions that we have in the game since pretty much their release. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it too much, but this is surely a questline that you should do, and if you didn't start it yet or if you are wondering how to do the missions, then feel free to check my full guide that covers all of them. At the end, you will even get to see something special. Let's move to the next one. Yes, there is a new event as well, and it's a sort of world event with this super strong boss that is a Sheepsquatch, and you get to do this, or you get a free key card to initiate the event if you complete the 4 side missions that I just mentioned in the previous point. This is really not an easy event and you shouldn't do it with a few people because you will need backup for the pylons and also to kill the boss. Anyway, regarding the rewards, you can get rare costumes, the Sheepsquatch outfit, the main part and then the head part as well, which looks quite cool and funny in my opinion. Did you feel something different with your stash? Well, the changes here are pretty straightforward. So they have removed the preview window and now all you have to do is access your stash as you used before, but there is no preview. That's the only change. Everything else is the same, so don't worry about it. On the other hand, the repair menu has changed in a little complex way, so now you need one more step to actually repair any piece of gear or weapon. Before, all you had to do was click one key, which is T for PC, it's the default, and now you need to first access the piece, T is for inspect, and then you can click another key to actually repair. This is because they introduced a new feature to rename items, and now it's just one more step to fix things. A bit bothersome, but what can we do? As I just mentioned, there is a new system that allows you to rename your gear, and this is particularly useful for the power armor, because some people have several power armors and then it's pretty confusing to know which one is which. And also, this makes it easier to access anything, really. For example, I decided to name my power armor starting with A, so I wrote powerful power armor just because. And now it appears right at the start of my menu, which is pretty handy. I no longer have to scroll like 20 times down to actually find my power armor, and that's amazing. I really like this new feature. Another excellent change is the vendor faction gathering. So Bethesda has allocated one robot or vendor from each faction in the Whitespring underground level, where all the vendors were located before, the Whitespring ones. But now you can find also robots from every single faction in the game. This is amazing because you no longer have to fast travel here and there to really far places, spend incredible amounts of caps to just get there. Now everything is in the same place, so just come here, look for the faction robot that you want or need, and that's it. Make your purchase and you're ready to set up. But that's not the only thing they have done about the vendors. They have also merged the daily cap pool, which is 1,400 caps. Now you can basically get the full amount from a single vendor. You no longer have, again, to travel everywhere here and there to find the different faction robots to actually get your money. You can just go to one and that's it. Gather stuff, sell everything, and get your calves. Well, the V.A.T.S mode is now more functional because it no longer focuses neutral and friendly targets. As you can see here, I'm spamming my V.A.T.S button. My stamina is being drained, but nothing is happening. I cannot target these robots. And that's great because it could be really frustrating when you were trying to select enemies and instead your V.A.T.S mode would select friendly or neutral targets. That's a no-no. Now it's fixed, and thank you Bethesda for that. Now, if you have ever farmed glowing creatures in nuked areas for the amazing glowing mass and high radiation fluids, for example, you remember that anyone could pick them up when they drop it. And that was extremely annoying because if you are a bit laggy or not too attentive to the loot, then you're going to lose it, and farming it was extremely difficult in crowded places. But now they are instants, and that means you can get everything for yourself. You can now craft stable floor much easier than before. This point is one of my favorite ones right now because I use food quite often for buffs, and now they stay with you even if you log out, and that's really great for people who love to server jump, which is kind of my case sometimes. And now you no longer need to worry about disconnecting or logging into another server and lose your food buffs. That won't happen anymore. Also, they have done some changes to the raid food spoils, and I have noticed that cooked food is lasting more than before. Maybe it's just my impression, but I did notice that. Also, raw food seems to be spoiling faster as well. Well, I think that's part of the changes, but maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully not. Another thing that you really need to know is that your turrets now have been boosted. So they increase the turret damage up to 100% depending on the turret. They have also increased the range to match a player's weapons, but they didn't specify how much did they increase. But I did notice this very much in my camp because now my turrets, I have a missile and a shotgun defending my base pretty well. Now, in terms of damage, it's really noticeable, and in range, I'm not quite sure, but I guess they did increase a little bit. You have probably noticed this one. It's about daily and weekly challenges, and Bethesda has done something tricky here. Now, they have decreased the difficulty of some challenges, like brewing ones. Now you need about half of drinks, drinking or crafting them. For example, you needed 50 before, and now you need 25. I'm reading the patch notes in case you are wondering. But in some cases, like leveling up, before it was just 1 level per day, and now they are asking 3 levels. That's a bit insane. Also, some weekly challenges are very difficult to accomplish, but I guess that's all part of balancing and scaling. Map markers are also a little bit different now, and they will overlap any other icons at the same location, including a player icon, which actually makes sense because when you are marking something, then you want other people in your team to actually see your marker and not really anything else that is below. In my case, I don't really use markers, but they can be useful in certain events or occasions. The survival mode has received, I would say, quite a decent amount of changes, and one of them is the amount of aid items dropped upon being killed by a player. They have decreased that amount, and I did notice this, so whenever I'm dying to a player, I no longer lose like 20 water and 20 radaways and so on. It's way less, and I think that's much more balanced than before, because losing off of your aid in just a single death doesn't make sense at all. So again, thank you Bethesda for this change. It's really encouraging to play more often in the survival servers. If you think the aid item change in survival is amazing, then this one is even better. Why? Because you lose way less caps to players than before. As you probably know, before it was double than adventure, but now it is based on your level. It's 25% more than your actual level, and that's great. So before I was losing around 400 or 500 caps per, and now I'm hardly losing 50. It's a huge change. The third major change in survival mode is the top 3 scoreboard. Before, it used to be the longest life, now it has changed to player kills, and this makes your life much easier if you are not a killer or if you are not in survival to kill people, which is normally my case. So thank you again, this is so great, because now you will not show in the top 3 and your location will never be revealed. If you are just there for the experience, if you want to journey and explore, nothing will really happen unless you find other players, of course. If not, they will not really find you. At least they don't have access to your location. That's an advantage, right? Do you often milk your Brahmin in your camp? Well, I've got bad news for you, because Bethesda has decreased the chance to get milk from them. Now, you will not get milk every single time you try to gather it. Instead, you will get some moose, which is their way to say, nope, you're not getting any from me right now. And yeah, that's pretty much the change with Brahmins in your camp. We are almost at the end of this video, and I couldn't go without adding this one. I know it is obvious, but it's still a major change. They have added this panel right after you log in, which is pretty much your source of quick information about the game. It has news, patch notes, even featured items in the Atomic Shop. It's pretty handy to have, especially if you are interested in the latest news from Bethesda. About Fallout 76, of course. They have introduced some major changes for the Fermented as well. So now if you access your Fermenter, you will notice this small panel up there, which basically tells you how many slots you have free to add drinks that are not yet fermented or aged. Also now you cannot add drinks to your Fermenter as you could before, because it pretty much worked like a stash, and you could add any drinks there and it would instantly go to your stash. Now that's not possible anymore. You can only add drinks to ferment, and they display a new icon close to them so you can see their progress. And I think it makes sense actually. My last pick for this list is the workshop rule changes, which are a bit subtle. So now if someone is contesting your workshop and you actually log out or disconnect, that person will instantly get your workshop. Alright. And the second one is that they have fixed the defending events, which were getting bugged quite often, and that's a really good thing. And as usual, I bring you a little extra that is not in the patch notes, but it's something that I realized, and it's about the PvP damage in survival, and it doesn't make sense in any way. So I tested with my knife and then with my sledgehammer, and I basically did the same amount of damage to my friend here, who was wearing full armor, but look at the damage between my sledge and my dagger. It's more than double, so how can I be doing the same amount of damage to him? This makes me question the rules of PvP overall. It just doesn't make sense in any way. Hey, maybe one day he will understand. I don't, I really don't, but I would like to. Anyway, that's going to be everything for this video. I really hope you enjoyed the content and that you are better informed now about the points that have drastically changed after patch 8. Thank you so much for watching. I am Marta Branco, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the content. It helps me a ton. As for me, that's going to be everything. See you in the next video. Bye bye!
Wow.